December 1890, Standing Rock Reservation, a Lakota prophet stands defiant, his peace offerings burned by a nation bent on conquest. Sitting Bull, hero of Little Bighorn, is gunned down by his own people, twisted by U.S. orders. Through the eyes of a boy, Little Hawk, witness a betrayal that crushed a culture. Why did kin turn on kin? What secrets died with the prophet's final words? Unravel the dark conspiracy behind the murder that silenced a visionary. In December 1890, the Standing Rock Reservation in Dakota Territory was a tinderbox. I, Little Hawk, was only 12, my braids still uncut, clinging to my grandfather, Running Elk, a Lakota elder who once rode with Sitting Bull at the Greasy Grass in 1876, where 2,500 warriors crushed Custer's 7th Cavalry, as D. Brown recounts in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Now, the air was thick with fear. The ghost dance, a sacred vision of renewal preached by the Paiute prophet Wovoka, had swept the plains, promising a world free of white oppression, per Nathaniel Philbrick's The Last Stand. To the U.S. Army, it was rebellion. Grandfather sat by our teepee's fire, his eyes heavy. Sitting Bull, our Hunkpapa leader, was under watch at his cabin nearby. The Indian Bureau, backed by General Nelson Miles, branded him a troublemaker for supporting the ghost dance, as Robert Utley notes in Cavalier in Buckskin. They ignored the truth. Sitting Bull sought peace, having offered talks in 1876, only to be rejected, per Brown. Now, 15,000 prospectors had stolen the Black Hills, breaking the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, leaving us starving on barren reservations. That night, December 14, whispers spread. Indian police, Lakota men paid by Agent James McLaughlin, were coming for Sitting Bull. Grandfather hit a ceremonial drum, its beat forbidden, under our floorboards. They fear our songs, he muttered, his voice like thunder. I saw shadows move outside, men with rifles, not soldiers but our own, torn between loyalty and survival. A woman, Red Owl, slipped into our teepee, her face pale. Bullhead's men say Sitting Bull plots war, she whispered. They lie. Grandfather clutched a beaded pouch, a gift from Sitting Bull after Little Bighorn. He speaks of peace, not war, he said. Red Owl revealed a secret. Sitting Bull had sent a letter to McLaughlin, urging dialogue, but it was burned, its ashes scattered. Why? I crept to Sitting Bull's cabin, hiding in the sagebrush. His wife, seen by her nation, sang softly, unaware of the betrayal brewing. A glint of metal caught my eye, a policeman's badge, dropped in the snow, marked with U.S. insignia. Dawn was hours away, but the reservation hummed with dread. Grandfather warned, they'll come at first light. The drum's hidden beat echoed in my chest. Why turn our own against us? What did Sitting Bull's letter say? Who betrayed the prophet? Dawn broke over Standing Rock Reservation on December 15, 1890, cold and sharp as a blade. I, Little Hawk, 12 years old, crouched in the sagebrush near Sitting Bull's cabin, my heart pounding like the forbidden drum grandfather Running Elk hid last night. The air was heavy with betrayal. The ghost dance, a vision of hope for our Lakota people, had been twisted by Agent James McLaughlin into a call for rebellion, as D. Brown details in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Sitting Bull, our Hunkpapa prophet, was marked for arrest, accused of fueling the dance that promised to sweep away white oppression, per Nathaniel Philbrick's The Last Stand. At first light, 43 Indian police, Lakota men paid by McLaughlin, surrounded the cabin, their U.S.-issued rifles glinting, as Robert Utley notes in Cavalier in Buckskin. I saw Bullhead, their leader, his face torn between duty and shame. Grandfather, once a warrior beside Sitting Bull at Little Bighorn in 1876, where 2,500 warriors crushed Custer's 268 men, whispered to me, they've turned our own against us. The Black Hills, stolen by 15,000 prospectors despite the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, had left us starving, and now our kin wielded the enemy's weapons. The cabin door creaked open. Sitting Bull, 59, stepped out, his eyes steady, wrapped in a blanket. His wife, seen by her nation, clutched their children. Bull Head shouted, "You're under arrest." Sitting Bull's voice boomed, "I'll go, but not as a prisoner. Let us talk." A crowd of 150 Hunkpapa gathered, chanting defiance. Then, chaos erupted. Catch the Bear, a loyal follower, fired at Bull Head, wounding him. Bull Head's pistol flashed, striking Sitting Bull in the chest. Another policeman, Red Tomahawk, shot him in the head, as Brown recounts. Sitting Bull fell, blood pooling in the snow. I froze, my breath caught. Grandfather pulled me back, but I saw a policeman drop a dagger, its handle carved with Lakota symbols, as he fled. Was it guilt? The crowd wailed, women screamed, men drew knives. 8 Hunkpapa and 6 police lay dead in minutes, per Utley. Seen by her nation cradled Sitting Bull, whispering his last words, "They fear our spirit." A tattered paper slipped from his blanket, a copy of his peace letter to McLaughlin, half-burned, echoing his 1876 offer, rejected again. The police retreated, dragging bodies. McLaughlin's report called it a rebel uprising, burying the truth. Sitting Bull sought dialogue, not war. Grandfather hid the dagger under our teepee's floorboards, next to the drum. Why did our own pull the trigger? What was in that letter's ashes? Who carved that dagger? The snow at Standing Rock Reservation, stained red on December 15, 1890, marked more than Sitting Bull's death, it signaled the death of hope. I, Little Hawk, 12 years old, hid in our teepee, clutching the dagger grandfather running elk salvaged from the chaos, its Lakota-carved handle a haunting reminder of betrayal. Sitting Bull, our Hunkpapa prophet, was gunned down by Indian police, our own people, under Agent James McLaughlin's orders, as D. Brown details in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. The Ghost Dance, a vision of renewal that promised to restore our world, was branded rebellion, crushed to dust, per Nathaniel Philbrick's The Last Stand. In the days after, the reservation was a graveyard of spirits. The army flooded in, 3,000 troops under General Nelson Miles, fearing the Ghost Dance would spark war, as Robert Utley notes in Cavalier in Buckskin. They didn't see our hunger, our lands gutted by the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty's betrayal, when 15,000 prospectors stole the Black Hills, per Brown. McLaughlin's report lied, calling Sitting Bull's death a rebel skirmish. The truth, his peace letter, burned, his call for dialogue, ignored, was buried. 8 Hunkpapa and 6 police died, yet the story was twisted to vilify us. Grandfather showed me a hidden scroll, a deerskin etched with Ghost Dance symbols, tucked beside the ceremonial drum. This was Sitting Bull's vision, he whispered, not war, but survival. A woman, Gray Sparrow, slipped into our teepee at midnight, her eyes hollow. She'd worked as a translator for McLaughlin and overheard a meeting. They knew Sitting Bull wanted peace, she said. Miles ordered his arrest to break the dancers. Her trembling hands held a torn army dispatch, dated December 10, 1890, hinting at a plan to silence the prophet permanently. She fled, fearing for her life. The Ghost Dance collapsed. By December 29, 1890, the Wounded Knee Massacre saw 300 Lakota, mostly women and children, slaughtered by the 7th Cavalry, avenging Custer's 1876 defeat, as Brown recounts. Our songs were outlawed, our children sent to Carlisle, their braids cut, their language beaten out, per Philbrick. A soldier's locket, found in the snow near Sitting Bull's cabin in 1891, held a sketch of a Lakota dancer. Why was it kept? McLaughlin burned records, but Gray Sparrow's dispatch survived, hidden in a trader's crate, rediscovered in 1920. Our people mourned in silence, fearing more death. Grandfather said, they killed his body, not his spirit. But the scroll's symbols haunted me. Why did Gray Sparrow risk everything? What was in that dispatch's missing half? Who owned that locket? In 2025, I, Little Hawk, now an elder of 47, stand at the Little Bighorn Battlefield National Monument, where the greasy grass flows as it did in 1876, when my grandfather, running elk, fought beside Sitting Bull to crush Custer's 7th Cavalry, as D. Brown recounts in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. The 2003 Indian Memorial, its stone circle honoring 2,500 Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors, stands defiant against the old Custer obelisk, per Nathaniel Philbrick's The Last Stand. Sitting Bull's death in 1890, shot by Indian police under Agent James McLaughlin's orders, was meant to silence our spirit, but his vision endures. The betrayal of December 15, 1890, at Standing Rock Reservation, when Sitting Bull fell to bullets from his own people, marked the end of the ghost dance, crushed 2 weeks later at Wounded Knee, where 300 Lakota died, as Brown details. The U.S. Army, fearing the dance's promise of renewal, buried Sitting Bull's peace efforts, his 1876 letter to Fort Laramie, his 1890 plea to McLaughlin, both burned, per Robert Utley's Cavalier in Buckskin. The Black Hills, stolen by 15,000 prospectors despite the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, remain a wound, but we fight on. In 2008, my cousin, White Cloud, found a bundle in grandfather's old teepee, hidden beneath the floorboards with the ceremonial drum and carved dagger. Inside was Sitting Bull's final letter, written in 1890, smuggled to Running Elk, "Our dance is prayer, not war. Let us speak as equals." It was never delivered, likely hidden to save White Cloud's father from arrest. In 2015, Lakota scholars presented it at a tribal council, sparking renewed legal battles for the Black Hills, citing the broken treaty. The 2003 memorial, etched with names like Crazy Horse and Gall, tells our story, not Custer's, as Philbrick notes. The Army's lies, calling Sitting Bull a rebel, fueled a century of silence. McLaughlin's burned records, the dismissed testimony of Gray Sparrow, who overheard orders to silence the prophet, were meant to erase us, per Brown. Yet, in 2020, a rusted tin box, found near Standing Rock, held a Lakota prayer stick, carved with ghost dance symbols, whispering of resistance. Today, our children learn our language, banned in Carlisle's halls, and dance the Sun Dance, outlawed in 1890. The courts hear our case, demanding justice for stolen lands. Sitting Bull's spirit lives in every drumbeat, every story told. Why did they fear his peace? What else lies buried in our soil? How will justice heal our scars?